Hello and welcome to our discussion once again. My name is Prof RSK and I'm your host for the day. Today we are looking at the functions of the various parts of plants, and I want to especially welcome you to Science Made Easy. In our previous class, we got to understand that plants like humans have various parts and they have various functions. Today, we will be looking at some parts of the plant, which of course we have listed in our previous section. And then we'll discuss some functions with respect to the parts. Without wasting much time, let's look at the part of the plant. Right. All the parts of plants perform various functions. And today we are looking at the root. The root is found in the soil as established earlier. And the function of the root is to hold the plant firmly in the soil. The root holds the plant firmly in the soil. The root also helps the plant to get water from the soil. And after it has collected water from the various parts of from the soil, it transports it to the various parts of the plant, moving up from the roots to the stems and then the branches and then the leaves. It is the responsibility of the root to bring the water, the minerals from the soil into or to the other part of the plant. And this is a typical root of a plant. This is a typical root of a plant. We said that plant roots are divided into two. We have the tap roots and then we have the fibrous roots. There are other roots, okay, called the prop root and then the adventitious roots. They are secondary roots, but the main primary roots are divided into two. They are the tap root and then the fibrous root. The tap root moves or goes deep into the soil. The tap root penetrates deep into the soil, whilst the shallow root or the fibrous root only hovers within the surface of the root. Examples of plants with tap roots include the neem tree, the mango tree, so we are talking about big plants, right? So you can list some of them. And then the shallow root, we have tomatoes plant, it does not require a lot and tap roots. No. So we have those grasses, all right? So basically, fibrous roots are roots that do not penetrate deep down the soil. All right, so that is the root of the plant and what it does. All right, so let's move to the stem. All right, so the stem is the middle part of the plant that can be found above the soil. The middle part of the middle part of the plant that can be found above the soil. So right after the root, we have the stem coming to light. All right, so the part that immediately appears in the soil or from the soil, the one above the soil is telling us of the stem, all right? So that is it. Now, the stem holds the root and then other parts of the plant together. Okay, so the stem is the mediator of the root and then the other part of the plant. All right. Now, the stem also helps the plant to stand upright or erect. The stem also helps the plant to stand upright or erect. Yes, it does that because basically, if the stem is weak, the plant cannot stand straight. We have discussed the groups of plants, and we looked at creepers, and we looked at climbers, and we understood from that particular class that creepers, they only crawl on the floor. Climbers climb. The difference and the similarities are that the creepers have fruits that are a bit larger than the plant itself. And so for it to climb, the root or the fruit will even bring them down, all right? But the similarity between the creepers and the climbers is that their stems are not strong enough to make them stand upright or to let them stand erect, to let them stand straight. That is the difference between creepers and climbers. Their stem is very weak, and so they are unable to stand on their own. All right. So the purpose of the stem is to help the plant to stand straight. Is that okay? So if the stem is weak, it means that the whole plant cannot stand straight. They will need support in order to stand straight. Example is the yam plant, and you realize that the yam plant cannot stand straight. It will need a stick. It will need a stick. It will need you to put some stick in the soil. We call it staking, to help the plant climb onto the other one. Others will climb on walls and other things that they find. All right. So the purpose of the stem is to help the plant stand straight. All right. So it also supports leaves and branches. That is true. The stem supports leaves and branches, and not only leaves and branches, it also assists plants. It also supports the flowers, it also supports fruiting, right? That is as a result of the stem. All right. So there are a lot of functions of the stem. I'll leave it to you to write the most important ones. In fact, you can just write all this into your notebook because it is very important. And since you are going to use the same thing, I will advise that you copy it directly into your books. All right. So this is a typical stem, a picture of a typical stem, budding some leaves and all that. All right, so that is a stem. Let's look at some leaves. And the leaves, we know the major thing it does is to prepare food for the plant. And the process by which green plants manufacture their food in the presence of sunlight, water, chlorophyll is known as photosynthesis. All right. So please, we take note of that. Photosynthesis is defined as the process by which plants use energy from sunlight to prepare their own food using water from the soil and chlorophyll from the leaves. All right. So that is the definition for photosynthesis. All right. Some leaves of plants are used to store food. They store food like that of onion. It stores food. We use some leaves as medicine. We use some leaves to prepare delicious food like the contomere, cocoyam leaves. All right. Okay, so We have cabbage, lettuce are also some of the leaves of plants that are used in making food. All right, so you can write some of these examples down. All right, so these are some of the leaves that we're talking about. Now let's talk about flowers. A flower is the most beautiful part of the plant. Yes, it is true because it's made up of petals, and petals are brightly colored part of the flower, and the purpose is for it to attract insects. All right, the purpose is for it to attract insects so that pollination, which is the male and the female gamete meeting, all right, can take place. And then from pollination, we can have fertilization, and then we can also have um, fruiting. Okay, so it is the flower that helps the plants to bear fruit. All right, so let us take note of that. So the flower is the most beautiful part of the plant. I agree strongly, it's true. It is the part of the plant that makes seeds and fruits. Already said that. All right. So what again can the flower does? It helps in reproduction. That is also true. I stated it. And then examples of flowers may include all the flowers that you know. And then you can see that all the names that you have, pansy, tulip, daisy, they are all names of flowers. Marigold, clover, they are all names of flowers. Bougainvillea, dandelion, they are all names of flowers. All right. So that is they are the examples of flowers that we have. You can see they are very beautiful. And so I want you to take note of that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that these are some examples of flowers. And I want you to tell me which of the flowers you really like. Most of you will prefer rose. Others will prefer sunflower, strawberry and its flower. Uh, okay, me too, I want tomato flower. So tell me what you like in the comments below. Let me know the type of flower you like. Maybe your flower is not here. Type your flower name, the name of your flower in the comment section. I'll be happy to also get to learn more about the flower you really like. All right. So I want to say a big thank you. We have discussed the importance of the other
Yeah.
parts of the plant. We have looked at the stem, the leaves. We have looked at the roots, and we have discussed this. I want you to take your time to write the notes. Take your time, copy everything. If you did not get any, I want you to play back the video again and again and take your time to copy it. If possible, draw it as well. If possible, draw it as well. And then we have a beautiful time. Thank you very much. My name is Prof RSK, and I'm still in the business of making maths, science, and ICT. Very simple and very, 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 very interesting. Okay. Now, the final part is plants that do not bear flowers. Before we sign out, plants that do not bear flowers. There are some plants that do not bear flowers, and it is true. They are called a non-flowering plant. Examples of non-flowering plants include the aloe vera, the moss plant, the royal palm, lemongrass, the fern plant, and then the cocoyam plant. These plants, you are not going to see flowers. No, they don't bear flowers. Okay. You're not going to see flowers. You're not going to see them bearing flowers. All right. So please take note of them. You're not going to see any flower. I don't know whether you have seen this lemongrass. Most people will use it for sobolo. I don't know whether you have seen it. This is the lemongrass. Others will also boil it and then drink it. This is the lemongrass. When you pick it and then you try squeezing it, it has some nice fragrance, if I can say that. It's good. This is the fern plant. All right. And as for the cocoyam, it is common with us. So I want to say a big thank you. Please take your time and go through the notes and then write everything down. All right. And then let me know in the comment section which of the flowers is your favorite. Which one do you like? All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's me, Prof RSK.